Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Stay connected till end for massive results. Today we take you on a journey back in time, to an event that forever changed the course of human history. We all know about the American Revolution, the struggle of 13 colonies against the mighty British Empire. But what many do not realize is that the impact of this revolution spread far beyond the borders of America. It was not only a war for independence. It became a spark that lit fires across the world, shaping nations, inspiring revolutions, and challenging centuries of old power. Imagine the world before 1776. Europe was ruled by kings and emperors who believed in divine right. Ordinary people had very little say in their governments. Colonies across the world were exploited, their wealth taken by powerful empires. Then came a bold declaration from a group of colonies in North America. They announced that people had the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They rejected monarchy, they rejected tyranny, and they stood for a new idea, that governments should serve the people, not the other way around. The success of the American Revolution shocked the world. No one believed that a group of farmers, merchants, and ordinary men could defeat one of the greatest military powers of the age. Yet they did. And when they did, the world began to listen. The news traveled fast across Europe, across Africa, across Asia, and across the colonies of South America. People saw hope. They saw that change was possible. In France, the impact was immediate. The French monarchy was already under pressure, the people were suffering under heavy taxes, and inequality was everywhere. When French soldiers returned from helping the Americans, they brought with them ideas of liberty and equality. They told stories of a people who rose against their king and won. Only a few years later, in 1789, the French Revolution exploded. Inspired by America, the French declared their own rights of man, and the world watched as another monarchy was challenged. The echoes of Philadelphia were now heard in Paris. But the influence did not stop there. In the Caribbean, enslaved people in Haiti listened to these same ideas. They heard about liberty, equality, and natural rights. And they asked, if these rights belong to all men, then do they not belong to us as well? In 1791, the Haitian Revolution began, and for the first time in history, enslaved people successfully overthrew their masters and created an independent republic. It was the first nation in the modern world led by formerly enslaved people. And it shocked Europe. That revolution was a direct child of the American and French struggles. In Latin America, leaders like Simón Bolívar were deeply influenced by the American example. Bolívar studied the American system and dreamed of liberating South America from Spanish rule. Throughout the early 19th century, revolutions swept across Latin America. Nations like Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, and Chile declared independence. The spirit of liberty that began in America had now crossed oceans and mountains, shaping an entire continent. Even in Europe, the ideas spread like wildfire. Across Poland, Hungary, and Italy, freedom movements emerged. Intellectuals debated new systems of government. The old belief that kings ruled by divine right was breaking apart. The American example proved that it was possible to build a republic, a government by the people, for the people. The impact was also felt in Asia and Africa, though in different ways. In India, early reformers and thinkers studied the revolution and questioned British rule. In the 19th and 20th centuries, Indian leaders would often look back at the American struggle as an example of how colonial people could achieve independence. In Africa, enslaved Africans heard about liberty and freedom, and the seeds of resistance grew stronger. Back in America itself, the revolution sparked debates about freedom that were not fully resolved. The question of slavery, the rights of women, and the treatment of Native Americans remained painful contradictions. Yet the words of the Declaration of Independence continued to inspire movements within America. Abolitionists fighting against slavery in the 19th century quoted the same words that Thomas Jefferson had written. Women fighting for suffrage in the 20th century pointed to the promise of equality. Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1960s would again remind America of its original promise of liberty and justice for all. The revolution was not only a moment in time, it was a continuing promise, a goal that generations have struggled to achieve. Globally, the revolution also changed how nations dealt with one another. Monarchs across Europe feared the spread of these ideas, but they could not stop them. The old balance of power began to shift. The idea that ordinary people could shape governments became a force no empire could completely suppress. When we look at the map of the world today, with so many nations independent and ruled by their own people, we see the shadow of the American Revolution. It was not perfect, it was full of contradictions, but it was the first spark in a chain reaction that continues to this day. So next time you think about the American Revolution, Remember that it was more than just a war in the 13 colonies. It was a signal to the entire world. A signal that the age of kings and empires was beginning to fade, and the age of people, liberty, and nations had begun. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Stay connected with this channel, where we bring you the untold stories of the past and their impact on the present. Do not forget to subscribe, because the more you know, the more powerful your mind becomes.